Pregame.com.
'49ers at the Cardinals. San Fran's a 3.5 road favorite. Totals 39. This is Brian's pick. Who do you like?
I'll take the under here. These two defenses have performed extremely well as of late. 3 of the last 4 meetings in the series, they've scored 33 points or less. In fact, just 3 weeks ago, San Francisco wins 23-7. If you've been watching San Francisco, they're having a hard time putting the ball in the end zone. In fact, the last 4 games, they haven't scored a first-half touchdown. They keep getting these field goals over the first half of the games, struggling to get having success in the red zone. And defensively, they haven't allowed a first-half touchdown going back 6 straight games. So this is a team that plays great, especially early. And the reason why I mentioned first-half numbers is it sets the pace of the game. A lot of times, a team will get a big lead at the half, and then the second half, the other team has to throw the ball. Then all of a sudden, your unders are down the drain. We saw the same thing with Miami. That was one I played last week. I had the under 43. I think it was like 13-0 going into the half. Then all of a sudden, Miami scores a couple quick touchdowns. And then all hell broke loose, and I lost my under in that. But, Arizona, the last 5 opponents they played, held them to 23 points or less. They themselves have not surpassed that 23-point total in their last 5 games. These teams know each other very well. The best units on both teams are the defenses. I look for another low-scoring game here. I like the under.
I came in with a lean to Arizona. I thought there's a little value there. If it gets to 4, which I think it
was for a little bit.
Yeah, I think by game time it'll get 4 because the public's going to be heavy on San Fran after they handled them the last time around so easily. And San Fran has been getting money week in and week out. Last week they got a lot of money and they got there. So I don't see any reason why those bettors won't back them in this spot, especially with Arizona coming off a big win, against Dallas. But I'm a little cautious because San Fran's still playing for something, and that's to get a bye in the playoffs, to get the number 2 spot. Because they clinched the playoffs last week. They won the division. I didn't like that they celebrated, but everything I've read from then on has been, we want to catch Green Bay, which is just saying the right thing because they're not going to catch Green Bay, or at least get the number 2 spot. They want that bye in the first round of their playoffs. So this is a team that's still playing for something. And if I've learned anything at the Tuesday meeting, it's beware of this young coach and this young team. They're not going to take their foot off the gas. Right. And you guys have been dead on because they have not taken their foot off the gas. They're 10-1-1 against the spread. And if I didn't pay attention, I'd have lost a lot of money fading this team over the last 8 weeks or so. So that kind of has me not wanting to jump on Arizona as much as I initially thought I would. But we may have a pizza bet here because I like the over, and I'm going to tell you why. This is the main point. Forget the regression that both teams are minus in total margin this year, okay? More importantly, the first game they played a few weeks ago, the 20th of November, the total was 40.5. That game ended 23-7. Now they're playing in Arizona. You would expect that where they're playing now, the conditions, in Arizona, you would get an adjusted total higher. But because that first game was such a low-scoring affair, that's not the case. If anything, it's a slight adjustment the other way. I think that's where the added value comes in. Because if that first game wasn't 23-7, let's say it was even 23-13, 23-14, I don't think this number would have came out below 40 playing in Arizona. I just think that the conditions of playing indoors would constitute having an adjustment a little higher on the total. Do you disagree? Well, and I know that the history between the two points to the under. So maybe I may be wrong. That's why I'm asking.
The thing is, back when they played the first game, the Arizona defense hadn't gelled yet. I mean, now we know a lot more about the Arizona defense.
I agree.
We know going into the game, the Arizona defense is much better. Back then, we weren't sure about it. They've had their ups and down games. There's certain game. Well, the game against Baltimore, they had that big first half and they had that big lead and they blew it.
Right.
Baltimore had that big comeback on them. I'm not so sure the weather would have been a factor in San Francisco, other than maybe the wind is compared to now. I don't think that's that big of a deal. But I do somewhat. If the line was 4, I would have been on the Arizona side. And the reason being is just take a look at the line last week. And I was on Arizona against Dallas. That was one of my top 3 plays, and for the most part, it was never in doubt. Dallas is laying 4.5. Who's a better team, Dallas or San Francisco? San Francisco's only laying 4. So that's something telling you right there that the value that you thought you had on Arizona, you may not have anymore, because San Francisco's the better team.
Yeah.
And I think they're better by more than the half a point.
That's the only thing, because when you look at their first game, that was with Skelton, not Cobb. And that line was 10 in San Fran. So if you do the math and give 3 points, 3 for home field,
it's about where it is then,
right?
4. And we actually had this talk earlier about Arizona with the quarterback differentials.
Right.
What do you make it, a point?
Tops.
Yeah.
Between Skelton and Cobb. I think Skelton played great.
Yeah.
He filled in just fine.
Yeah.
Arizona, the thing that scares me is that the letdown factor, beating Dallas. And they didn't beat Dallas. Dallas beat themselves. Jason Garrett beat Dallas. He beat his team. I don't know what it is. The guy, they said it best on Showtime in the NFL show that they do each week, that he's just a scared coach. And I know we're not covering Dallas right now, but he is. He seems like he's just afraid to make the wrong move. And it just keeps costing them over and over and over and over again.
Well, that comes down to the owner.
Exactly.
When you've got George Steinbrenner or Jerry Jones, you tend to coach that way.
Exactly. And he's coaching scared right now. But again, I agree with you, the lean Arizona at 4, not enough to make it a play yet. But I don't know, we going to bet a pizza? I swore that I would not bet him any more pizzas unless it was a best bet, unless it was my best bet. Because so far, I've been hustled into betting into his good plays, meaning these are his videos, these are his picks, and somehow I find myself on the losing end of his picks. And here I am again, setting myself up for failure, because once again, this is his pick. And I'm the idiot that just said, you want to bet a pizza? I want a pizza. We'll wait for the best bets.
That's all right. I'll be eating good no matter what.
We'll be back for best bets. We got Philadelphia, Miami. We got New Orleans, Tennessee. The 2 good games and 2 best bets. One from me, one from B. We'll be right back.